Good morning. It's Wednesday, June 5th. And this morning I'm about to tell you a story that is unique in my history of doing these rants. This has to be one of the strangest stories that I have had the opportunity to talk. So I'll get right to it. There was a woman that was declared dead and was found alive at the funeral home. So Constance Glant of Lincoln, Nebraska was pronounced dead in a nursing home, and a funeral employee preparing her body realized that she was breathing. Imagine that. In a nursing home where professionals are supposed to be taking care of you, she ends up pronounced dead. And then at the funeral home where they're going to prepare the body for burial or maybe cremation or whatever, they find out that she was breathing. Is that not a shock? And how in the world does something like this happen? How many people had come across her body and still thought that she was dead? This is a very unusual circumstance. I have never seen or heard anything like this before. Because before you declare somebody dead, you've got to know what you're doing. And certainly at a nursing home, they must be able to take some kind of precautions to make sure that a person is actually dead before they declare her dead or him dead. And she was at the funeral home when so there she is at the funeral home when this young person who's getting ready to prepare her body for burial realizes that this person on the table here breathes, that she was still breathing, and was amazed that she had ended up on the table in front of her or him or whoever was getting ready to prepare her for her final resting place. She's a lucky lady. And after she's found breathing and everything, they brought her back to the hospital and she was declared alive. How stupid is that? Almost 3 hours. 3 hours between the time she was declared dead and then found to be alive, but to have to take her back to the hospital to formally declare her alive. What were these people doing? So there were some very unusual things that happened in declaring Constance dead. Normally, if that happens, they have some kind of protocol that asks for a coroner to come in and examine the body. But, Constance was ill. And about 7 or 8 days before this incident, she had been examined by her doctor, and the doctor had put a notice at the nursing home that he didn't expect Constance to live much longer, that she was really very, very ill. So these factors all played into some kind of avoidance of what normally would happen when somebody dies. Normally they would have, as I said before, a coroner come in or somebody to examine the body. But because of her condition and because of what the doctors had prepared beforehand, those factors, those traditional treatments were not taken in this particular case. Now, after this little part of the mess got cleaned up, the family was notified that she was still alive. No information was given about her true medical condition, other than the fact that her doctor didn't expect her to live much longer. So because of the unusual conditions that took place in this incident, They have investigators looking into whether any laws were broken. But so far, they didn't find any laws had been broken. And the chief deputy said they have not been able to determine that anything was really done incorrectly, except maybe for the fact that they didn't bring the coroner in as quickly as they could have. And of course, the nursing home has not been prepared to answer any questions about this incident. They have been stumm. And of course, the chief inspector, the deputy, or whatever you want to call him, he has put everybody on notice that he's been doing this for 31 years and he's never come across a case like this before. Nothing like this has ever happened before. And I'm sure that there have been incidents, but not to this magnitude. And I am sure that most of the time in Lincoln, Nebraska, and in that part of the world, all the rules and regulations are followed strictly, and that this was a very unusual situation that caught a lot of people off guard. Now, there have been cases where people who were declared dead only to be found alive soon after. But this one took a little bit longer than soon after, although it wasn't a monumental time spread. It was only 2 hours or so, but that's dangerous enough because she was on the table getting ready to be prepared for burial, so to speak. So while this is rare, it's not as rare as we would think. In 2023, a woman in Iowa was taken in a body bag to the funeral home where the workers there discovered that her chest was moving as she was gasping for air. And then in 2020, there was a woman in Michigan with cerebral palsy and was declared dead by the paramedics, but was discovered to be breathing hours later by a funeral home employee. So these funeral workers have an additional responsibility. They have to make sure that the people that they're dealing with are really dead. In 2018, a South African woman was pronounced dead at the scene of a car wreck, but hours later was found breathing in the mortuary. And something like that happened in 2014 in Mississippi, when a man had been pronounced dead but was found alive in the body bag at the funeral home. So while here I am talking about this, as it seems like pretty rare incident, but not so. Not a whole lot of times, but once every couple of years this happens. So I hope that when it's my turn to go, I really have to go. I don't want to be awakened and found on a slab somewhere with people preparing me for the final resting place. It's a horrifying thought. But that's my craziness for this morning, so you'll have to forgive me for that. So I'll leave you with these unusual situations, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.